Hey guys, Drifter here. Today I've got an update video for you about my Advanced Warfare wishlist. A little while back, before the game was revealed or anybody could play it or we really knew much of anything, I made this big wishlist about things that I would like to see in Advanced Warfare, and as it turns out, I'm going to get a lot of those things, and some of the things that concerned me did come to reality, and some of the things that concerned me then don't really concern me now, so I'm going to kind of go back and revisit that video. I did link it down there in the description if you're curious, but the number one thing that I wanted in Advanced Warfare more than all of the rest of this list combined was good spawns. I wanted to be able to spawn in a reasonable, logical, safe location and not get spawned into grenades in front of people on top of claymores or C4 or whatever the equivalent was. And, you know, mostly it seems that way. I played quite a lot of Advanced Warfare at Gamescom and a few little private sessions, and I can only remember getting one or two questionable spawns, and they weren't that bad. They weren't spawning into gunfire, I wasn't spawning on top of explosives, I wasn't spawning in front of people or behind them or something obviously wrong. There were one or two to where I was kind of around the corner from objective, like I spawned kind of close to them but not into death, but overall I'm going to say it's an improvement, definitely better than Ghost. I'll get my bag on Ghost for easy points out of the way here in the video. The spawns in Ghost are pretty bad. Advanced Warfare spawns, definitely better than Ghost. I wanted ranked playlist in this game. I kind of missed League play from Black Ops 2, and in the meantime I got addicted to the ranked playlist in League of Legends, and there's not a lot of details on this mode other than the fact that it exists. The fact that it exists and that they're working on it's a good thing. I guess I'm going to get it. I don't know exactly what form it's going to be coming in. I also wanted really good weapon balance in the game. I wanted unique weapons that counter each other, that balance, that play well, so that they're all good in their own and they're strong in their own different kind of ways. And so far that seems to be the case. We've seen some of the weapons, definitely not all of them, and quite a few of the weapon variants, which is kind of a crazy thing, and thus far none of them stand out to me as being broken or overpowered. Perhaps in the hands of the pro the IMR is pretty strong, but personally I like the HBR3. Some of the SMGs and shotguns are a bit strong, but none of them stand out as broken or overpowered at the moment, but the game's not out so we don't know how that's going to be for sure. I wanted no easy mode sights, no target finder, no thermal tracker sight, that kind of thing, and I'm going to say about half got that one. We do have the threat enhancing sight, and I'm going to say it's more similar to the tracker sight than it is for the target finder. What it essentially does, I'm not showing it off in this gameplay, it highlights enemies in red, but it doesn't give them a weird glow or anything like that. As a guy that is colorblind, it doesn't seem very strong to me. However, I've had some people in the comments say that it is quite a strong sight, but it doesn't add a glow around the body, so you can't see people around the corners, kind of like the tracker sight, and it doesn't add any sort of big giant rectangles or anything about that like the target finder sight. I honestly didn't find it that useful. I didn't use it on that many classes, but I have no idea what people are going to do in public matches at home. I wanted non-OP exosuits, and with the exception of a few abilities that are a little bit on the strong side, that's generally what I got. While the exosuits are fun, they add movement, mobility, all these sort of crazy things, they don't really seem overpowered or broken to me, and the exo abilities, they don't last for a very long time. They're pretty much one and done. You get one ability per life, you can't spam them, you actually can't have a perk where you can make yours last longer. The ones that worry me are stim. I guess you could kind of abuse that in combat and give yourself juggernaut health. And cloak, even though I've said many times that cloak did not feel overpowered, that it wasn't difficult to counter, and that most of the time I could see the cloak guys, just being able to cloak gives people the opportunity to be, I'll just use the word buttholes. You could cloak in a corner, you could cloak in a dark spot, you might miss the cloak guy, that could be annoying, a few other little things. The shield really wasn't that bad. Actually, the shield really wasn't that popular when people played it, so I more or less got that. And lastly, kill streaks with counterplay. So far, almost all of the kill streaks that I've seen have counterplay. The Goliath was quite strong. It was hard to kill the Goliath, but on the flip side, that was a higher kill streak. It was harder to earn it. We only had one support streak, and that was the UAV, but you had to get almost double the points to have it to be a support streak UAV. So like a normal UAV would be 400 points. However, if you wanted those points to continue to stack after death, you would have to add that add-on to the kill streak and make it 700, which means it took a long time to get your support UAV. The other ones, again, pretty strong, but not broken. There were some ones that I'm worried about in the future, maybe. EMP, I don't think there's going to be a lot of counter for, and they talk about EMPs in the game, so I'm assuming it's an EMP kill streak. And there's been talk of there being a nano swarm from the single player campaign, or some sort of AI bot swarm or something like that. I'm guessing it'll be similar to the Black Ops 2 swarm, and I'm Pretty sure that one's not going to be anywhere remotely balanced, but I think that's like the game ender, like the reward, like the Black Ops 2 Swarm, the Nuke, the Moab, the big thing you go for. So if that one's not really crazily overpowered, then it wouldn't be fun, which is something I did talk about. The streaks had to be fun, and most of them seem counterable. Even the big annoying laser that comes down from the sun, not from the sun, from the satellite, and hits you, it kind of burns you like, you know, you're using the sun on a magnifying glass and we're all little ants. It moves really slowly, you get a decent warning, and it's more like a Predator missile and less like a Mega Streak. You're really only going to kill 2, maybe 3 people with it tops, unless they're all bundled together really, really tightly. Not something really bothersome. However, there were some things on this wish list that I didn't get, some things that kind of irked me then, or that I've might have changed my mind about. At the time, it was announced as a totally new engine, and I had a lot of high hopes that it would do things differently than previous Call of Duty games that other engines couldn't. And when I found out, it was the same engine again, but extremely heavily reworked, more so than in Ghost, but it still got that same kind of base code. And we talked about it before, the reason Call of Duty runs smooth, the reason it reacts the way it does, like quickly, the reason it feels twitchy. A lot of the good things about the game are because of the engine, but also a lot of the bad things, like the guns being tied to FPS and some of the quirkier bugs. And most of the engine overhauls seem to have been to include the exosuits and the graphics. Really, really heavy overhaul on the graphics. Core gameplay still feels more or less Call of Duty-ish, nothing really huge there. I wanted no overpowered equipment. I wanted equipment to be fair, to be balanced, not broken, not like IEDs, not like shock charges, but we got this tracking drone thing that you stick on the wall, and when you walk by it kind of breaks off the wall and follows you and blows you up. It's kind of like an IED that you can put everywhere, except it can follow you around corners currently. The balance to it is that it makes some noise so you can hear it coming, and it moves really, really slow. You're probably thinking like it's the IMS, like as soon as you hear it you're dead, but it moves at about walking speed, so if you walk maybe 10-15 feet away or a couple of meters, it detonates and it's not going to hurt you. However, it's something that you can very easily overlook, and people did put them on the ledges of buildings to blow each other up, which was very frustrating. Something I talked about, I wanted pro rules to be the same as public rules, or I wanted the general public to play more competitively and with less broken stuff. I've said this before in different videos, and it was taken as like, I want pros to use IEDs and crazy stuff like that. No, I just wanted the game to be so well balanced from the start that there wouldn't be a need to go all crazy band heavy or to have a radically different rule set. That's not something I can really predict at this point. That's only something I can hope for and spitball about. Actually, in my older video, I talked about the higher mobility being a bad thing. I was worried that the higher mobility would make it seem not like a Call of Duty game, and if the exosuits were too overpowered, it might feel more like Titanfall and less like Call of Duty. And after playing it, it's not a current concern for me, but it's kind of interesting to see how my own opinion on that has changed and how others' opinion has solidified. There's a lot of people that I've talked to that played this game that says it doesn't feel like Call of Duty to me. It feels different than me. It feels like Titanfall. It feels like, we'll say Team Fortress. It's got jumps and all this kind of stuff. And that's something that was worrying me before but doesn't currently worry me. It probably does feel different, but I just like those kind of games. I like the really jumpy kind of high mobility games, so that's probably just my personal bias going on. I wanted gore in the game, didn't get a smidgen of gore. The game has to release internationally. Every single country has its own different ratings board and laws and rules, and they're allowing consoles in China for the first time ever. That I'm aware of, so I'm sure they're going to try to sell in China as well, and lots of gore is not going to go with that, so there's pretty much no gore. Of course there's a little bit of blood when you get shot, but I wanted that World at War, like sawed-off shotgun, blood spraying, blowing off legs and chunks and kind of crazy stuff going on. Not going to be seeing that anytime in the near future, and even though Call of Duty is rated M every single year, it's designed to be a very general consumer, very easy to ingest sort of game, and if they make it too hardcore, if they make it too bloody, if they make it too sort of R-rated and gory, then it's not going to be that anymore. It's going to go down the Grand Theft Auto line and be less and less sales for younger audiences, so you'll lose out on that one. Also less mainstream in general. And the last thing that I wanted, which was really crazy that I'd hoped for, was map editing on the fly, a la Halo style. I kind of wanted a little Call of Duty Forge mode so that we could make our own maps, or that we could edit existing maps, or if a map is broken and if it needs some work or something like that, we could just magically edit it and fix it. No, this is like really kind of crazy pie in the sky idea. something that would have had to been done ages and ages ago. Didn't get that. Can't be mad about that. Don't really care. Not such a big deal. But overall, I got most of the important things that I wanted from my wish list. The spawns are definitely improved. I don't know what they're going to be like in the final game, but they played really well for what I played. Only had 1 or 2 goofy ones. Ranked playlists are back. I got my weapon balance. No tracker sights. The threat enhancer sight didn't seem bad at the time, though I have no idea what pubs will do with it. Exosuits don't bother me, and the kill streaks are mostly good and counter-playable. So I got my big things, little things, no new engine, equipment might be annoying again with a stupid tracker drone. Pros and pubs are probably going to be different again. The high mobility is going to be a mixed bag. Some people are absolutely going to love that high mobility, and some people are absolutely going to hate it. There's no way I can get gore, and there's no way I can get my crazy map editing thing. But overall, I guess if the game comes out and I complain about the game, I should just be more careful what I wish for, because it seems like I more or less got it. That's all for this video. I hope that you enjoyed it, and I hope that you learned something useful. If you did, don't forget to like, favorite, and subscribe. Drifter out.